can hear me snap once, if you can hear me clap once, if you can hear me snap twice, if you can hear me clap twice. Ladies and gentlemen, those will be your tools for tonight. If you hear anything that resonates with you, please add to our energy by snapping or clapping to show that it has resonated with you. Cool? You can buy your hair if it won't grow. You can fix your nose if you say so. You can buy all the makeup that man can make. But if you can't look inside you and find out who am I to, you'll be in a position that makes you feel so dang unpretty. She wears insecurity like the latest fashion trend. And she be dealing with some issues that you can't imagine, but she will not be rapped about in a Kanye West song. In fact, the only recognition she'll ever get in her life is this poem. She projects her feelings in the form of fashion. You call it passion, but the truth is there's some issues that she's masking. You see, her life has become her own personal masquerade where outsiders only score points on the basis of how beautifully they wear the mask. They have made pavements become her own personal runway. She will rip it just to show you what she's working with, hiding the loneliness, the anxiety, the deep downward spiral, all behind the title of flawless. She's so twisted. She woke up like this. No one can show her how to get out of this. She uses fashion as a coping mechanism for the injection of rejection, and she tries to wipe it away with her perception of perfection. Her perfectionism constantly competes with God's original idea of creationism. You see, she worships the almighty dollar. Idolatry only finds her self-worth in the things that she's possessing. Her handbag is a limited edition sponsored by her depression. She got it for the price of her soul and constant reassurance of the world's acceptance. It carries a mirror that reflects back to her all of the lies she has told herself over the years. A special kind of makeup, because even Maybelline couldn't cover up everything that she conceals. A wallet that carries her Abba Father on the insides. She is falling apart, but she will throw him in the air so you can watch her ball out. An iPhone filled with contacts that only tell her what she wants to hear, but she keeps them there because it sure beats being alone. I am sure that Michael Kors could never create a bag that could carry even half of what she deals with, and Victoria's Secret could never construct a fashion show halfway as structured as this. And you see her in passing and you envy her fashion. You look at all of the things that she has and you wish that you had them. But if you knew the secrets behind the things that she keeps, I wonder if you would still ask for them. I'm like learning to like tell my story, so I have just been blessed by God to travel all up and down the East and West Coast sharing this gift. And I work with young people and I teach them how to use arts to heal their emotions. And that stems from really paying attention to myself. And I think it's so funny that I've tried to run away from myself so much that God made me run right into myself through the things that I was doing for everybody else. And so now that I've been taking more moments with myself, I'm learning that I found my voice before I knew that it was my voice. And so I teach young people how to find their voice before they know that it is their voice. And so with that being said, there were a lot of things that I battled with internally. And that is another reason why I work with young people, because I know the battle of only knowing one part and not knowing the totality. So like, I know that I struggle with this, but I can't tell you why I struggle with it. And I can't tell you like anything else relative to it. I just know that it's a struggle. And so what art does is it creates a safe environment. And I'm going to do some poetry because I don't want to bore you guys. But one of the things that I mainly dealt with was depression. And, you know, in our community, We are told, get over it. You know, we're told, stop being a baby. We're told, don't let them see you fall apart. You know, we're told, you're stronger than that. You're this and you're that. And I'm learning to measure my life against God and what God says. And if God tells me to boast in weaknesses, then He obviously made room for me to have weaknesses. That's just my idea. Okay, so one of the things that I absolutely struggled with for a very long time was depression, and one of the roots of that depression was being a single mother in the church, and pretty much being shunned for my single motherhood. And I remember so vividly that, man, I was like, God, I thought I made the right choice, but everybody around me makes me feel like I made the wrong choice. And I could have chose to do something different, and I chose to keep it. And you say you love me, but I don't feel loved when I come into the environment where you are supposed to be. And so I wrote this poem when I began to see the beauty as to why my son was born.
My son likes putting puzzles together. And I wondered where he developed this fascination for these carved out pieces. You see, when I gave birth to him, my life was one big puzzle, but I carved out pieces. I hid them from him. I figured he was too young to understand them, but he was so close to me that he felt everything that I felt, found all of my broken pieces, and laid them all out. He had it envisioned in his vision that putting things in their proper order was a part of his mission. One by one, he viewed each piece's image, and every day he worked on his puzzle, vowing not to stop until he was finished. My son likes putting puzzles together. And it baffles me that he can create an image that his eyes have never seen, use his genius to create this picture that is made up, but perhaps this picture is a part of his makeup, given to me by intelligent design. My son could be the love I had lost redefined, helping me to see what I could never see because I was too broken, but he found the connection between my brokenness and my beauty. He came to abolish my misconceptions that men only come to leave things broken. He never heard the story of Humpty Dumpty, but he had a pure desire to put me back together again. My son just wanted to remind me that I was still beautiful. He just wanted to remind me that I was still useful. He just wanted to encourage mommy not to give in because everybody at some point in this life has experienced being broken, and our brokenness comes in different sizes, but if we hold on to our pieces, we can always be put back together again. And y'all, my son, he likes putting puzzles together. And I love watching him do it because he ever so graciously reminds me that when you take one broken piece and connect it to other broken pieces, right, we'll eventually create something beautiful. All right.
What I learned, though, is that God's love is God's love, and man cannot take it or give it. And if God gives it, then it is only my duty to receive it. And so on the journey of receiving God's love, one of the other things that I struggled with was making bad decisions in dating. And, part of that is growing up in a single parent household, not seeing relationships, families, the whole nine. That's part of it. But the root of it was the rejection from never having met my birth father. The rejection from, feeling as if I was not wanted as it relates to not having met my birth father and having so much weight to bear, being a child of a single parent and multiple children in the household. And the other part of it was fear that I would make the same decisions and be in the same position as my mom. And that's a real thing, and it's not a penalization to her, but it is an actualization that we have to come to, that sometimes inadvertently we project things on our children. And so what I'm learning to do is I'm like, God, look, we're going to get this out open and honest. And I pray, God, Uproot those seeds. Don't let any of that go past. Uproots all those seeds of rejection, fear, any of that. And you plant life, and you plant peace, and you plant confidence, because you said that you were a limitless supply and that I could come to you for anything. And that does not negate my child. And not only my child, but then let's go back and to my mom too. You know what I'm saying? All of the times that she has tried and failed, give her confidence to try again. Like, I told my friend the other day, I said, you can't see your strength because you don't know how people view weakness. And so it's like, man, we are looking at you and we're like, that is so strong. If I was in that position, I would not be able to do that. And I'm trying to tell y'all, I got my heart broken one time. I ain't dating nobody again. I was like, that's it, Jesus. I'm good. I don't want no marriage. I don't want nothing else. I'm good. That hurt. But to see a woman that tried and tried and tried and tried and, tried to get stability for her children, tried to get stability for herself. And you don't actually see those things until you begin to come into adulthood and then have your own experiences. And then you be like, Lordy Jesus, my mama was... I can't say it on camera, but I'm just like, Jesus, help her, Lord. I just have moments where I cry for her. I'll be like, Lord, I don't know what she was doing, but she done got into a mighty long way. You don't be trying to be religious, but a mighty long way, man. And I just be like, wow. But that is so real. Like you never know how to measure your strength until you understand how people view weakness. And so I learned to boast in my weakness and to really talk about my mess ups. God can heal. He can deliver. He can mend your brokenness. He has a miracle to fit your need. If you trust Him, you will receive.
She told me it was a heart condition. And I laughed as I partly listened, but the part that she said lingered and played on and on again in my head, and then it dawned on me that I tried to write a poem about love with no emotion, and much like being in relationships with no emotion, it wasn't foreign to me. But when I spit it, nobody else could get it. They said it sounded too dry. Much like this dry morsel of a heart of mine, you see, I never allowed a man to fully have my heart. I just allowed him to fall in love with the way that I had lied. Down with him as we scratched this itch of our lustful needs, because in my opinion, his strength was too small to handle issues as deeply rooted as these. You see, the root of these problems had nothing to do with him. They had everything to do with me. It was an issue I had convinced myself I had let go, but my heart was steadily clenching and tightly compressed. This issue remained clasped, and now that I was trying to use this heart for love, it remained out of my grasp. You see, she told me that this was the last stage right before depression, and I remained flabbergasted that a heart this scarred could leave such a lasting impression, impressing men that were constantly asking for a key to unlock a display of a heart that they only had in parts. It is hard to reveal the most secret parts of your heart when you are only used to men desiring you for your body parts. You start acting like the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz. With every step that you take on your path, you are searching for your heart, inflicting affliction upon those who are merely just pawns in this game in your chest until their peace is gone. And the reason they call it your chest cavity is because the most vital piece of you is gone. Wow. There's a hole in you. You have allowed your emotions to be evaporated, and now emptiness has claimed its hold on you. So now anyone that tries to be close to you, you never allow to experience the whole of you, because their intentions in your eyes has been shaped by a distorted view. You and I with these actions have acted with of similarity, running around keeping tabs on this game of hurt you before you hurt me, or leave you before you had the chance to leave me, with a little less of me than I had before, and a lesson in forgiveness is not one that I had ever had before. So let me teach you. Map out this lesson plan and give it to you firsthand. Section 1, total healing can only come from God, not man. All right. And everything that you went through up until this point in your life was a part of his plan. All right, y'all. Let's be honest. Some of that stuff was just yours. But either way, you can't negate a life's plan that is specific to yours. You see, he orchestrated his timing and his resources to protect you and to grow you, so that as you learn to stray away from man and go closer to him, he could bring you into the full stature of your virtue. Section 2. If you want to remain a bad lady, you'll miss your bus like that. Because you cannot fix what is undone by simply looking for someone that is willing to carry the load of your crack versus someone that is willing to help you unpack. And yes, words borrowed from Erykah Badu are the avenue I will take, just as long as you allow these words of truth to heal you. So please, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Because I can guarantee you that your life will be much better. Section 3, you cannot be a Proverbs 31 woman with the actions and mentality of the woman from Proverbs 14 and 1, the latter half, spewing out insults to shield your brokenness and expecting men just to deal with that. You see, the problem here is that in your mind, you think you're a bomb, B-A-L-M. That is an anointing word for all of you that don't know. Right. But in his mind, you are a bomb, B-O-M-B, constantly ticking, waiting for your next chance to set this Mickey off, because anyone that has anything to say about the way that you are living can surely get told off, when the truth of the matter is there are issues on the inside of you that you refuse to resolve. But please, let the beauty of this message reach you, because I can never tell you about something that I haven't personally been through. And on my road to restoration, I encountered God, and he gave me a brand new heart. And if you feel like you are broken beyond repair, I'm here to tell you that he specializes in taking what is old and making it new, like a warranty-covered part. So today, it is my prayer that you understand the importance of your heart and the hands that you place in it, because it is never God's will that any of us remain.
Gotta keep on, keep on, keep on, harder. Gotta keep on, okay, keep on, keep on, harder. Are y'all ready? Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Keep going. I'm about to jump in. Can't let what they say, can't let what they do be the only thing that defines you. Let me tell you a story about knowing all the greatness that's inside of you. You can't find yourself through no one else's view. No one else can say the things that's right for you. Gotta find yourself while you look within. Gotta find your beauty over and over again. You are royalty, a young king or queen. Gotta let this life teach you some things. Nothing can compare to the song you sing. Once you see the joy that this life will bring, pushing, 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 keep on pushing, 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 keep on pushing, pushing, pushing harder. Y'all focused on competing, I'm focused on completing. People live life obsolete cause they still searching for their reason. The purpose was done on purpose. We be speaking for a purpose. Since reason is linked to purpose, then nobody should feel worthless. Only problem is nobody ever told them what their worth is. So value is only found profession that they working, got these 9 to 5s, these dead end jobs, they slaving just to stay alive. But I got a bullet that's gonna help them up there. Purpose and passion, producing powerful people. I don't got no competition and purpose, we all equal. If you messed up the first time, I'll help you get to the sequel. Oh, gotta keep on pushing, 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 keep on pushing, 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 keep on pushing, pushing, pushing harder. Oh, 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 oh. Y'all are so lovely. Thank you. All right. I got one more piece. Am I doing too much? I'm doing too much. Y'all want me to say? I got one more piece. I call this my redemption poem. So I came to the Lord. Now, we always have encounters, but I had a real encounter with God. You grow up and you do the church thing. Hallelujah, hallelujah. When I think about Jesus, what it done for me. When I think about Jesus, how he set me free, I can dance all night. Yeah, y'all got it. Some of y'all in here coaching. Look, y'all like, where my stilettos at? Give me them pumps. She ain't doing it right. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So this was my all night poem, but it wasn't a dance all night. It was a surrender all night. It was a see how great you are all night. It was a thank you for your mercy all night. It was a you are an awesome God all night. And so it happened in 2008. I went to college in 2006. It happened in 2008, which was my sophomore year of college. And ever since then, I've really never been the same. And when you have an encounter like that, that's when God stamps you, right? And so when you're stamped, you can't really, it's like when you go to the club and you're not 21 and they stamp you right and you go to class the next day, you go to class 2 weeks later, yeah, it's still there. Yeah, but when God stamp you, it's for a lifetime. It ain't really 2 weeks. It don't go off in the shower. It doesn't go off because you make a mistake. It doesn't go off because you veer on a path that you think that you are going. It does not go because those who are called are called. And if God has put his voice on you, every time that he speaks, you will hear him. You will absolutely. I'm telling y'all what I know from experience. But this is my all night came to redemption poem. Here we go.
I asked for God's help with this. Because every piece before this poem, I had been self-sufficient, I sufficed, until I realized that my gift was so much bigger than me that it would require a sacrifice. I became a son in that moment, realizing that it was only through the things that I suffered that I could learn obedience, obey. I've never been great at following that root word, always reading his word, but never allowing my heart to substantiate the root of his word. So this day, I do solemnly swear that I, Epiphany, will submit my being, so that in God I can live, move, and have my being firmly planted in him, allowing his word to be the soil to take root like the canal. I agree to be the one that is plucked up, cleansed, and sealed, so that my life can be a mirror that people can image their purpose through. Purposely driven, following the roadmaps of his Rhema and Logos word, of which I am his derivative. He is the logical extension of my reasoning as I explore. New mercies he provides every morning. He is the one that I adore. It's the dawning of a new day, and nothing can ever compare. But you don't know how many times my judgment wasn't paid. Sin was like going to the ghetto after you lived in the suburbs. You see, it was cool to visit, but when the street lights exposed everything, you realize why you could never live there. You see, his judgment is fair. And I'm a city girl. I ain't trying to be Bruschetta. But I am trying to tell you about the things that God delivered me from, so I could never forget, though. That night I was transcended into hell. Demons were ready to oblige the debt of sin that I owed. Called all the contacts in my phone, but I couldn't get nobody. I yelled out, Jesus, save me. He jumped in and said over my dead body. That night he spared my dead body. Told me that for this generation he had given me a voice. And this day as I My outward life was an open manifestation. But in my secret life, death was creeping back in, trying to become my friend, and I flirted with him because sometimes living in the light just gets a little boring. So you lust after the darkness, not realizing that you are just a target for darkness to throw its darts in. He captained my heart and sank my battleship. I was sinking. The darkness turned to me and told me that the propitiate had already come. So how could I have the audacity to call on the sun when his ability to save me was a maximum number of 1? And this voice I never thought to shun as I sat in that pew listening to the preacher preach. Satan's subcontractor was carrying out a greater assignment in me. He sought to bring the circus act like the Ringling Brothers, juggling the struggle between my spirit, soul, and flesh, putting me on display as if I was auditioning to be the headliner for Cirque du Soleil. But the only person that could see this freak show was me. I'm talking about a struggle that you can't even put into words. When your stresses and anxieties, fears and failures become knit like gimp and it's all obscure. When you're traveling in the direction of trying to figure out your sexuality, but you get stuck at the toe because there's no easy path for that. So the gears of your struggle start shifting from overdrive into neutral on this decline of your life, and you start drifting back. I was surrounded by people, but in my struggle, I felt all alone. I let the devil TV series me with his game of thrones because I had forgotten that he was the one that Christ had already overthrown. And being subject to this battle, I partially bowed my knee, but for some reason, I could not settle for revering him as majesty because somewhere in this juggling act performance for this king, my spirit reminded me that I serve the King of Kings.
Right.
I yelled out, Jesus, save me. Look what I've become. I need you to save who I am right now and everything in my past that I had left undone. I need your Holy Spirit to start a fire in me that purges my impurities until I am become undone. I need you to be the answer to my life's conundrum. I'm tired of my heart swinging back and forth like a pendulum. I want to be stable, like that building that has a manger you were born in. I want to be born again. I want to be made new. So I'm coming to you because I know that if I be in you, old things are passed away and you could make them all new. I give all my things to you. I give this life to you. I heard a still small voice say, 2017 years ago, I came to be the sacrifice so that at this very moment,